Ryan, Sufian, welcome back to Izzy Does It.
Welcome back. Yeah, it feels good to be back.
As you mentioned, today it's a full circle moment as you walk in and brought some bakwa for me and the crew.
Yeah, it feels like a long time.
Actually, it does, right? Like, it feels like it's been more than 2 years, like, probably like longer.
Yeah, I think also because of how much has happened, how much has changed, and probably because I see you quite often as well.
True.
So it felt like a long time.
Yeah. It's so funny how it all started because when I had you first time on the show, if you are just discovering Izzy Does It, Ryan Sufian was one of our guests previously, but back then we were talking about how he got into business at the young age of berapa to, like before you were even legal, right? Before you were even 18.
Yeah, 14, 16.
14, 16, like watch back that episode if you haven't. And then at the time he was heavily involved with 27 Supply. It's a sneaker shop at the mall. And then at that time he brought us samples of his now full-fledged business, Heritage Bakwa,
Yeah.
which was insane. I remember we were testing it. The crew and I were testing it. It was like did you bring two flavors?
Yeah. I think the last time I was here, that was okay, that was before Heritage Walk launch, and that was the first online appearance of Heritage Walk ever. Like I didn't even have like an IG back then. It was belum lagi apa-apa. So now 2 years later, it's so different now, you know?
You have a humongous digital presence, I feel like, for Heritage Bakwa.
Humongous. Okay, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say humongous. I think you're
Is that a millennial word?
not really, but like macam mana like I wouldn't say humongous. I think I have a good presence.
Okay.
But yeah, for those who didn't know, actually I started doing content because of Easy.
Okay.
You remember? You were the one who pushed me to start
Oh
doing
yeah.
content. And to be honest with you, I don't think I would have started content if you didn't push me for like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah. Remember it was like when we first started and then we were jogging and then you guys said, "Oh, you should start posting content. You should start posting behind the scene,
Yeah.
blah blah blah." And I was like, I don't really want to put myself out there.
Oh yes. Okay, now I remember this.
Yeah.
I think it was the conversation because um you wanted to be more open with the idea of posting like the founder, yeah,
POV.
founder's POV. And I really like that idea because I think back then there were a few creators who did that. And I think often people categorize them as social media influencers, but
Yeah.
they're a different type of creators, right?
They're like founder creators.
Founder creators, yeah. So they have a community that follows them from day zero, like similar to you. And I'm so glad that you finally leaned into that. But before I get into that, I want to actually, this is a good time to talk about it. Um, I want to just go back to when you first appeared, right?
Yeah.
I remember like you were way more nervous. I know you are a little bit nervous now. Tapi back then you were like visibly nervous.
Yeah.
And also like now that I'm thinking back, seeing you here sitting across me, I feel like you also physically have grown. Yeah,
What is that?
like you were still a child back then. Now you do feel like yeah, but you had an appearance of a child, but mentally, whenever I have conversations with you, it does always feel like I'm talking to someone
Yeah.
like a peer,
Yeah.
who's someone who is also going to entrepreneurship, starting a business. Yeah. But yeah, for context also, after me and Ryan met on Izzy Does It, we took our friendship newfound friendship outside of the podcast. We started running together also because like his brother's my friend and we're in a running community weekend pacer, so that's how we talk lah during our
Yeah.
jogging sessions. He hardly ever runs now, understandably, as his
I just
business
ran
gets.
last week with you, I think.
Yeah, but that was like after a long
That
hiatus.
was true, but yeah, I'm getting back now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I think you deserve a lot of credit for pushing me into doing content. Like I said, I don't think I would have started content because remember I said, "Oh, I'm gonna start content."
Yeah.
Then you're like, "Okay." Then 2 weeks later, you ask me, "So where's the video?" And I'm like, "Oh, nanti, nanti, nanti." And I've been like, holding it back for like 4 months since then. And then I remember I started texting you. I said, "Oh, I posted my first video."
You were so nervous.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
scared. I was
But
so
that
scared.
first video blew up.
Yeah, I did pretty well, but then I think it was like my third video. It was like macam I got like 250,000 views for that one video. And then I was still recording using like my earpiece for the voiceover. Most of my videos are like narration videos where like I do behind the scenes and I just talk over it, like showing all the clips. So I was still using that, and I think I still remember I texted you, "Oh, I spent this much to buy a mic," and that was like my first big investment for like
And
content
equipment.
creation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk more about that side. Tapi how much, so you have Heritage Bakwa now. Are you still heavily involved with 27 Supply?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still part of the team, but most of my focus right now is Heritage Bakwa. So I'm like full-time banner focusing on Heritage Bakwa.
Okay. Do you have like how do you balance the two then if you're still involved in 27 Supply?
Well, 27 Supply Co, like I think I mentioned this before. I have a business partner, so he's the one who's running most of the day-to-day, which is like all credits to him. Like, I appreciate him so much. So he's doing like the daily operations because it's not like a high maintenance business. You know, you're just purchasing and selling inventory, and we have our amazing sales associates who do their job and interacting with the customer. So it's pretty good.
Now I wanna dive into the your Heritage Bakwa business. So 100% would you say you credit the success of the business to the online presence that you've created, the online persona of Heritage Bakwa? Would you think, have you gone to the traditional way um of entrepreneurship? Do you think it would have met the success that it has now? So when I say traditional way, it's like macam, the typical Instagram business, and then lepas satu posting on stories, and then probably have a physical store, joining events and all that stuff.
To be honest, I don't know because I didn't go that route. But just from my personal opinion, I do think it has contributed a lot. I wouldn't say 100%, but I do believe that a big part of our success is from just that founder-led, founder POV content that we've been pushing out. And then, we do some branded content, but it doesn't engage as much as founder-led content that I do. Oh yeah.
So when
But
you
but
say,
then there's like pros and cons for
okay,
I'd say.
can you share what are the cons? I mean, we know the pros because it's quite evident now,
Yeah.
right? But what are the cons if
I think one of the cons is, because I would say most of the content that we push out is founder-led content rather than branded content. So, we have this well, now we're working on it, but we're trying to separate the two entities. I want people to when they see me, it reminds them of Heritage Bakwa, but I want them to see Heritage Bakwa as its own identity as well. So that's what we're really working on for the next like 3-year project that we want to focus on, showcase more about the experience, the brand story, focus a bit more on brand storytelling instead of just founder behind the scenes business entrepreneurs. So yeah, and because I do believe there's a lot of story to tell from Heritage Bakwa's side of the story, like how we started the business, what the brand is about, the cultural importance to us. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done in that side.
can you explain for those who don't quite understand the difference between founder-led content and branded content?
I think branded content, like I mentioned, is focused more about the brand aspect.
Is
What?
it more promotional?
No, I wouldn't say not more promotional in terms of product focus, but it's more lifestyle focus.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, like something that showcases what the brand is about, not just the product. But founder-led POV is just like from my lens, running the business. So it's very like
Behind the
behind the
scenes.
scenes, business focus, entrepreneurship focus, struggles, problem solving, all these things.
Is there any specific reason why you want to separate yourself from being seen as, when people see you, Rayyan Sufian, they see Heritage Bakwa.
I mean, that's good. Yeah, that's really good for me. But it's the other way around that I want to make sure that it's like Heritage Bakwa has its own identity. Like, I don't want people to see, say, our booth and then it's like, oh, it's the TikTok guy, or like it's the, I know. So I want, people to start to experience the brand a bit more and appreciate the brand, and knowing the brand story instead of just my story, like, because like I said, the founder's POV is just my lens on the business. So I want people to experience the brand for what it is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way I see it is, as you were explaining that to me, right? I think, how old is Heritage Bakwa now?
Well, since we launched, it's like a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Like since we officially launched. Yeah.
So I don't know how old is that in like business years compared to human years. But the way I see it is like, it's like when you, so think the founder led content as like a parent showing off their child. So as the child grows, it will organically have its own identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So macam now you are just basically sharing with the world, or should I say like online, about this baby that you just birthed. And then macam people are obviously like interested to see it, right?
Yeah.
And then lepas itu macam, I think organically, as the business continues to grow, as your brand continues to grow, like Heritage Bakwa, I think it will naturally develop its own identity and its own like following lah.
Yeah. And I think why founder-led POV content has really worked for us, I think, is because people enjoy seeing like a human behind the brand. Like it's like an actual living being. Like the brand is not just something like corporate, or something like they're shoving a product in your face, forcing you to buy, or doing so much promotional content. I think when we do all these content, my goal actually is always to inspire people, for if through this content lah, at least, like you mentioned, people seeing it grow from zero to where it is now. So I think it creates a sense of,
Attachment.
attachment, and then maybe some people can relate to it. Some people are starting their own journey into this entrepreneurial thing. So that's what that's how I see it, and also what makes me enjoy doing content nowadays. Yeah.
It's like I see somewhere people say online that it's sort of like a episodic reality show.
Really?
Yeah, it's like macam, okay, so episode 1 you were just explaining what Bakwa was to the world. Episode 2 you joined a consumer fair. Episode 3.
I to be honest, I didn't see it like that, but now that you mention it, I do see it like in a certain way. So like essentially you can go scroll through my TikTok, and then you can binge watch from start to where it is now, and sort of see like the growth, the progress, how we did certain things, certain big issues that came about, and certain milestones that we hit. So now that you mention it, yeah, I would say it could see that way.
So now for people who are considering starting this, right, starting a business, because there's this one person that I just started following on TikTok. He appeared on my FYP. Sketsa Hamish.
Oh, I follow him.
Yeah, I follow him too. So I really
I love his.
That's why I hope that he will keep on posting like the founder-led content punya
Yeah.
path, because
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there.
I do believe.
Right?
I follow him. I engage with his content, and
I followed him on Instagram too, by the way. Like, but him, not the business, because I'm interested in this founder-led like
yeah.
POV lah.
Yeah.
So for people who macam similar to Hamish, right? Hamish?
I don't know. But I follow him. I know which one you're talking about. The one you bought baju. Yeah.
Yeah.
The MIB shirt. Right?
Yeah.
I love his shirt.
So you mentioned earlier when we talked about like you having reservations about putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
posting for the content. Share with me, because I feel like it also could be useful for people who want to start doing that, tapi macam have the same feeling of like macam like so worried, right? Like it's not, honestly, it's not easy to post yourself online.
Yeah.
Exposing yourself to the public, exposing yourself to both praise and criticism, or like hate, is daunting. So walk with me, apart from my emotional support.
Yeah.
Walk with me, what eventually like just made you edit and hit the post button.
Okay.
The thought process lah.
I'd say now it's easier, but starting off was the hardest. I keep telling people this as well. Starting off, like the first video is the hardest video to make. I think I made like 4 or 5 different videos I didn't post. I don't remember what the videos were anymore, but I it took me so long, and especially I think just me not being used to it. It feels like a new new thing for me, very awkward, out of my comfort zone. So I mean, I started off with narration, so it was just my voice, and then I was just recording stuff, right? I was not like showing my face yet, right? So even the narration was so hard for me because you hear yourself through your ears when you're talking is different from how it sounds.
And the way you judge yourself is the way you assume people judge.
Yeah, but because the thing is, so many people don't know who you were before that. So that this is their first impression. So that was what was so daunting to me at first. But then, I started to realize like macam I won't get anywhere if I don't really go out of my comfort zone and I don't try to do it. At least try it can. So I did it once, posted the video. Did okay. I think I did a day in a life. I think that was my first video, a day in a life. And I was so scared because, I have friends on TikTok, I have families who also use TikTok, and then siblings, cousins. So I was macam, this is so hard for me. So I posted, did okay, posted again and again. Then after just like about 3 4 videos, then it was a bit easier to do. Then I started to shoot myself a bit more, like not really talking, but just like slowly easing into it. I think that was the easiest way to do it from how I did it. And then I think after seeing a lot of support, people in enjoying the content that I push out, I think that was when I was like, okay, maybe this is not so bad after all. But doing the first video, I tell you, it's so hard.
It's so hard, right?
Vanar pa, yeah. Even now, actually, I still struggle doing talking head videos. That's why I don't do it. Every video that I do is still a narration, just because I think I stutter a lot once the camera is like at me and I have to look at the camera. I still until today I still can't do it.
That's a trait of you that I admire because you have this growth mindset. I know previously when we spoke the first time, you are a very private person. Yeah, you actually don't. Your Instagram only had like one post maybe back then, and it was private, as in your personal Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing now you taking the jump and risking whatever limiting belief that you had back then about putting yourself out there, and to see that it has rewarded you is something that I hope people will take into consideration, because a lot of people, when they wouldn't even consider it, like, oh, I'm so private, I'm not gonna do it, it's not my thing.
Yeah, but I think that's where I think I've tried to find a balance between, I don't put my private life on
Yeah.
my TikTok. It's just
There's
strictly
always
work.
a way on.
It's just strictly like my career, my work, behind the scenes of just my work. I don't really post
Personal stuff.
personal stuff. So that's when I sort of found like the balance lah, like just posting what I want people see. But that's social media, at the same time that's also, I would say, the downside, because people only see the good that I post. That I don't. Obviously, I post some struggles, some problems, but I turn it into content, right? But end of the day, it's like all the not nice thing side of business I don't really post. So sometimes that could be misleading as well to people. When people macam lihat all the content, saying, oh, they're doing so well, macam memang growth memanjang, and like they don't see that at the end of the day it's still like any other business. There's always ups and downs. So
I think sharing any part of your life is merijap sometimes, but there's always like a way, like, yeah, like you said, macam you don't share. I mean, I like to think as humans we have so many sides to us.
mm,
There are parts where we can keep to ourselves and to our close friends, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, I feel like, especially when you go towards this path of like founder-led content kan,
mm,
I think you just have to also be like open.
yeah,
Yeah, because you have to get with the times, right? Like macam we're now in the social media age where social media entrepreneurship is the
like,
way forward
yeah,
to create a community. And to be able to create a community, there are times where you have to be vulnerable so that it develops trust between you and people around you who want to follow your journey. So after that first part of, I would say, getting through that obstacle of hitting post, right? Um, what would you say is another thing that led to the growth of Heritage Bakwa? Because if you think about it, there's actually a lot of things that you needed to do. Not only you had to run the business, you also had to create content.
Yep.
You also have to, hit post.
Yep.
You also have to, I don't know if you look at analytics.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So macam, how do you, there's so many things, right? In that you can do. Like, and also, I want to know at which point of the business did you start to hire someone to help you with the
Okay.
content? Yeah.
Okay. So I believe all entrepreneurs are, what do you call them? People of many hats.
Uh, um,
Jack of
Jack
all
of all
trades.
trades,
Yeah. So
master of none.
yeah, you have to have so many different hats that you can wear. You have to do the marketing, you have to run the operations, you have to do the sales, do the finance, everything from A to Z. And I think, starting off, we were still very, in terms of scale wise, it was still very small, still very manageable. So that was still easy for me. But then when things start to grow, things start to be a bit difficult to handle everything. That was when I needed to hire more people. And I'm really grateful now we have a team of 7, including me. And most of them are already running the production line independently. So I'm moving away from the production to focus more about growing the business, shooting content. But I still shoot all my content on my own.
With your phone?
No, I got a few camera equipments. Eventually, yeah, I started off shooting with iPhone saja, manjang for maybe like a year. And after that, I got a DJI Osmo Pocket.
You convinced me to get it.
It's a really good, um,
Creator tool.
creator vlogish camera. But then I, like, recently, probably like 2-3 months ago, I really wanted to go into creating higher quality. I wouldn't say production level because I'm nowhere near that, but just something that is a bit more professional looking. So I got a proper camera, just a budget camera, and then got some of the gears, lighting, better mics, better, all the accessories to shoot. And then bear in mind, I had no knowledge.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, how would you know what camera to get, what lighting to get, what audio equipment
Okay,
to get?
actually, this is not a plug, but I get most of my equipment from from 673.
Yeah, 6, 7,
So
yeah.
I was asked for advice lah, like macam which gear should I get? Which one do you recommend for my use case? I'm a very amateur shooter. Don't ask me to get like a cinema camera because I don't know how to use it, and I want something that's very beginner friendly. So he recommended me something, the ZVE benernya awal-awal. But then he also said maybe the A67 would be okay. Then I did my own research lah. Then I sell for the A6700,
Yeah.
which is a really good camera now.
Yeah.
But then the next problem came was I had no skill in shooting anything. I don't know anything about cameras. Like, no basic lah. Like macam ISO, aperture apa, langsung
Yeah.
ko na tahu
Or
apa.
same.
Yeah, so I just binge watch a lot of YouTube before I sleep
Yeah.
and watching people punya. I like watching, what do you call this? Like a workflow.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so macam they show the behind the scenes from planning
Planning to shoot.
shooting,
Yep.
and then equipment that they use, and then their thought process on how they shoot, why they use this gear, why they use this lighting, and then all the way until during the edits. Yeah, so that's how macam ano lah. And maybe because I also consume a lot of content, so I get a lot of inspiration from the content that I shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just also appreciation shout out to Ing Xiang from 673 Shop.
Yeah.
I know he's helped a
A
lot
lot of content
a lot of
creators, yeah.
content creators, a lot of social media entrepreneurs as well, like yourself. So again, this is not sponsored in any way, but I would just like to, if you're watching this, if you are starting out with content, 673, they will advise you on the stuff that you need to get based on what you need. Um, also helped me with some of the stuff from my side, Jua. But this is the thing, right? Do you think nowadays people who want to get into business, not only do they have to have the knowledge of starting a business, do you think they also have to have the knowledge of
Marketing it, right?
marketing it?
Yeah.
And marketing now is not just about posting and like selling, but also content creation now.
I think marketing has changed so much in the past 3 years than it has in the past 30. Especially after COVID, like that whole. I think TikTok really disrupted how marketing is in terms of digital marketing. It's not, I would say like 5, 6 years ago, all the marketing you see, all the things that are posted on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever YouTube it is, it's always very polished, very clean. Now it's very raw, very authentic, very genuine. And I think that's the type of content that everyone is looking for now compared to, well, not looking for, but that they
For that.
resonate with and they can relate to. So that's something that I think has changed a lot. And adapting really gives you an edge, I
Yeah.
would say.
What you mentioned just now, yeah, the marketing landscape has changed over the years, especially how it is now compared to 30 years ago. And I think it's when you mentioned that you learn a lot from YouTube, Joa, that's where I feel like a lot of free knowledge can be obtained from there, for sure.
Even TikTok, like there's so much knowledge on TikTok.
Yeah, I like how YouTube is when you want to really focus on
Something specific.
something specific. TikTok is when you just need a specific, like a just okay, TLDR. It's from TikTok, like which I'm short. What are the s- skills um social media entrepreneurs need to have now?
I think it's very basic. It's just storytelling. You just need to know how to tell a good story.
Okay.
I think that's how.
How did you learn how to tell a good story?
I think that's hard because that's subjective. I wouldn't say I'm good at telling stories, but um, I think just because of the nature of how people are on TikTok, the s- attention span is so short. If you don't get your point across immediately, um, people will scroll, and that will affect your engagement and how the video will perform. So I really like to just get straight to the point and skip all the unnecessary yapping
The
or
sugarcoat.
yeah,
Like,
just go straight direct to the no. I like to keep things short. Most of my TikToks are like under a minute saja, but I want to try and pack as much content into that just 1 minute, just to because people are just scrolling mamanjang. So that's how I think, and I wouldn't say I had any like playbook on how to storytell, but I just like to make things fast. All of my content I think is quite fast paced. That's why it sort of makes it seem like I'm good at storytelling, I think, but it's more of just trying to
cramp
yeah,
everything
and
into a video.
yeah, but then still making it sound genuine. That was the hard part because I do, let's okay, the thought process wise lah and process wise. Okay, so sometimes there are content that I don't expect and some are okay, planned and unplanned. So I have content that is planned, say like say we're joining consumer fair. Okay, I know that we're joining consumer fair. I will roughly know what will happen, but then I'm keeping it open. So whatever that happens that is unexpected and could be content depending on ano lah, appropriateness.
That's the plan
That's
one.
the planned one.
Yeah.
So the unplanned one, sometimes something just happens and then based on appropriateness again, I'll just get like whip out a
The
camera.
camera ready.
Yeah. Yeah, because most of the time we have a camera ready on us. Um, so those are the two thought process. But at the end of the day, before anything starts, I create a script first. So how I do it is I just open my notes and I just brain dump everything into one long paragraph. I just type everything that I remember, everything not even bullet points. I just type everything like a journal. And after that, I sort of reread it again after. Then I just, so nah, then I find what is the point here? Like, what is the main story? Say, um, one of the videos that I did was yang went viral. I think was the machine.
The one when you went to China?
No,
Which one?
the it was, I think,
Is this
last
an
year.
older video?
Yeah, older video. This was unplanned.
Mm.
So we were supposed to load the machine up into my new
Oh,
facility.
yeah.
And then by the time we were there, no muat. Soal like macam stress berhabis. Kali stress tu, I was looking at my assistant and I was like macam, can you record this? So I didn't know where it was going, but then I just started recording it. And then at the end of the day, I look back at all the footage that's available and then I started trying to piece the story together. Yeah.
Wow.
But then kalau macam planned content, I just get, if it's not me who's shooting, I do have my
Videographer?
well, not yet. I'm getting a videographer next month, inshallah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now I'll be doing all the content. But before this, it was just like whoever's working, say, oh, can you record using your phone, whatever it is. Just try and get whatever you can. Then from there, whatever media that we have, I'll just sort of try and piece a story together. If it's not interesting, then I'll just scrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you have that stock, right? In case stock of footage.
Stock of footage. Yeah, but I still try to only do something that's like worth doing. Like, if it's just like macam I don't do videos for the sake of doing videos.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have any regular posting schedules. I post whenever I feel that there's a need to post. Like there's something that I want to tell my audience. There's maybe news or announcements, but even news or announcements, macam I only post what I feel is necessary.
Okay, now I'm curious to know what you think, right? So Heritage Bakwa, is a product. You're selling bakwa.
I would say it's more of an experience, but
Okay.
then we just
Yeah.
Bakwa just happens
But
to be the
surface level, like you're basically selling bakwa, right?
Yeah.
I know the experience side is what you are aiming to get people to see it as lah.
Mm.
And I feel like especially now recently you have like this portable booth that you created.
Yeah.
Yeah, so macam I can see that it is turning into an experience now.
But that video did really well as well.
Yeah.
I got really good engagement. For that video.
Impressive.
But that's the thing, I took that video. I held it off for maybe like 4 weeks. I had the cart for like 4 weeks. I planned cart na tu datang. I shoot terus post. But then I put it off so much because I didn't know how to shoot it. Like I don't know how to make a content of a cart. It was so hard for me because normally I do storytelling about experience or events or whatever situation happened. But this is doing a story for a product that I'm not even selling. It's just a piece of furniture equipment that I have to give a story about. So writing the story was really hard for that from my side. And then shooting it was the hardest part because I didn't know how to make it interesting. How do you make a cart look interesting? And this was one of the first few videos I did with the new camera, so I didn't know how to shoot.
I mean, it turned out great.
And I think it was the least amount of effort I put into shooting. Like it was like, okay, shoot this, and then this angle, this angle, this angle. Okay, I didn't think about it so much, but then it was. I think until now, it's the most engaged video, but not view wise, but just people interacting with it, people talking about it, sharing it, and it did really well on Instagram. Yeah, which I don't normally do well on Instagram.
I think any video is really hard when it comes to Reels versus TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, it will always do better than
Tapi kalau
Reels.
Reels do well, it does really well.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it just suddenly just blows up.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you what you've built. Okay, I think fine. It's a product in the food category, right? It's bakwa. Yeah, bakwa is something that fine. Granted, a lot of people don't know what it is. Like I think in the Chinese community, obviously people know it's bakwa, right?
Yeah.
But what you've managed to do now is, I feel like bakwa is now a mainstream food because of heritage
Really?
bakwa.
You would
Yeah.
say so?
I especially in the Malay community, we've never. I mean, there's beef jerky,
Yeah, right.
but you've explained what the difference is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also Oh my god, there's one that I saw last night. Apa tu? El Dapanya.
Legenda,
No,
legenda,
no, it's
lalap,
a lalap, yeah. So a lot of people, so there's bakwa, there's
lalap.
jerky, there's lalap.
Lalap is like Bruneian punya meat jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've sort of like introduced bakwa to the wider community now. So it's become, I feel like, mass market, right? The thing that amazes me is that, simply put, you're just selling bakwa.
Yeah. I was
But
saying what
that,
product?
yeah, you are just selling bakwa. But how the hell did it become this like phenomenon? You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the magic of marketing.
Yeah.
And atupun I'm putting it simply though.
It's very
Marketing
niche.
ato.
Like, it's very niche. Like,
Yeah.
the product is very niche.
So that's now I want to get into the experience part. That is what people want to be part of. Right? Like again, like simply put, you are just selling bakwa. But why people buy into it is the experience and the story that you build around it. So
Brand.
you already have a community that followed you from the start, and then people who came across you can now also look back to your old videos and like, oh my god, this guy has like, oh yeah, he started from this and that.
Yeah.
So ato yang ko macam like, how do you think um I don't know, do you think this can be applied into any type of business, whether it's service or product based?
I think so, especially when you talk about building a community, right? I think that's the most important part first. Rather than building a product and then building a community, I think it's better to do the other way around first. Build your community first, and then your community will have a need for a product or have a relation to a product. So I think that's easier to look at it that way. Like, I followed this one guy on TikTok. I'm pretty sure you know, Minted New York. I think we talked about it.
You were the one who introduced me to him.
Yeah, Marcus.
The
So
Leon.
yeah, I don't know how to say his last name, but I've been following for like the longest time when he came out with, I think, like his second or third collection for clothing and like macam accessories, all these things. He started off just with like a community, you know, he's just showcasing his lifestyle, his running lifestyle, fashion lifestyle, and then he already had like a really strong community by then. Then he just started coming up with his own things, and then people started appreciating it more, and then now he's built like such a big brand, and he's doing everything now.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He started off with like uh fashion, but now he's into sportswear, right?
Yeah, sportswear.
Because he started running.
Yeah, I follow him on Strava as well.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Yeah.
He's like a proper athlete, I would say.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So macam that's also like um uh something that I enjoy following when it comes to people who start businesses, is that they reflect what they do onto their business too.
Yeah.
Like macam before he started running, he didn't have that collab with Saucony, right?
Yes.
Saucony?
Saucony.
Saucony, right? Not as in not as in Saucony, right?
Yeah.
That brand, yeah. And then yeah, because he started running, he started coming up with athletic wear.
Mm.
Like, do you think
I think now he's also doing apa tu health products, I think.
he's teasing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's teasing it. Like electrolyte
Yeah, electrolytes.
and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But do you see yourself doing something similar? Like for example, if you took running seriously, like would you come up with like, I don't know,
Yeah,
like
for the record, I stopped running because of an injury, and then I just got busy with work. So not the other way around. Okay, I got an injuries. Everybody remembered the injury.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I think because I didn't have a community before I started anything. But you know, all these people who have a community, they are already content creators, you know. So I think it was a bit harder for me to push my product out without a community because I was building both the product and the community at the same time. But to be honest, you know, with building a community, I think it's just important to be genuine, saja. And then building your content will sort of reach the people that it's meant for. So I think it goes back as well into starting off the content, like your content journey or putting yourself out there. Like that's something to keep in mind. Like your content will reach the people that it's meant for. And I wouldn't say I would say don't worry so much about the quality of content at the beginning. It doesn't matter at all. Yeah, it's more about you posting that first video and then building that community. Your quality of content will improve over time. It's like evident most of the time.
I also remember you saying that you don't your content, how you edit it, you don't stay in one frame for more than 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of
So every 3 seconds,
that's a new clip.
it's in.
That's why I'd say it's very fast paced. Like my
Mm.
content is very fast paced, and maybe even my storytelling. I try to not talk so slow because then people start getting bored. People again attention span wise. So I try to keep it everything fast paced. The storytelling, the narration, even the clips. So it really keeps the attention of people. Yeah, people's attention. Sorry.
Okay, if you were to start another endeavor, right? Another venture, what would you have done differently? If this was your day zero, what would you do?
Day zero. To be honest, I never thought about it. Something that I struggle with a lot is creative block. That's why I don't post so often because like I mentioned before, I only want to post something that I feel that I need to post or I should post. Like I don't post for the sake of posting. So it sort of goes hand in hand with creative block. So I only post when I have an inspiration or, you know. So I think from the beginning, I think it's really good to have someone to work on the content with you. If I were to restart over again, um, and I actually wanted to do something more like a documentary style,
Okay.
like really, really go into the raw, um, authentic behind the scenes. But it's so hard to do it because I do all the content on my own now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I were to start over, I would document everything from the start.
Mm,
Yeah.
what would you have done if people didn't resonate with your content? Like if you posted that first video, if people didn't respond to how people responded to it, what did you do? You think it would have been demotivating?
Yeah.
Because I would like to, because not everyone's like, it really is. I don't know. Do you think it's luck based? Like how
Of
does
course, I think the algorithm has like randomness to it, like form of luck, like you mentioned. But I think it's really up to how your video is. Like the first 10 seconds, I think is so important of a video. That's how I see it, and I think the hook is super important for short form videos compared to long form. Um, and even for me, I get some videos that don't do well. And when you're talking about it demotivating you, I have had my fair shares as well of like content not doing well and macam I put so much effort into the video then suddenly macam nada views, people not. But I look at it as like a growth mindset thing again. Like, just post. If it doesn't do well, move on to the next. Then that's how we've done. If like macam if you look at all my videos, bukan semua is like viral or like 50, 60 or 100,000 views. I only have like berapa saja video yang over 100,000, but then I have so many videos that probably macam 9,000, 10,000, 20,000 saja. But I just post and forget. That's how I see it.
oh
Yeah,
so you
but
post it
maybe it's
again
easier said than done because I'm grateful that my first few videos did really well
to start, right?
to start. So, but then, like I said, I've had my fair shares masih, but I still have that principle of like, just post, forget. Kalau indah, then tough luck lah. You try and figure out what to improve on the next. Even with all my stuff, I said, you know, focus on just improving a bit each time. And then you'll sort of see your work compound over time.
So you do rewatch and see what you could have done better for the next video.
Yeah, then you look at the analytics on TikTok Studio, you'll sort of see like there's like this chart where it sees when people start scrolling, like at what time frame that is most often lah. It's just like an average graph. So you'll see sort of when people scroll off. So if people scroll off after like the first 5 seconds, I would look at it as like maybe my hook is not good enough. Maybe I'm not grabbing the attention immediately. I'm not getting straight to the point enough. I'm talking too much from the start and not, again, getting straight to the point. And then maybe much towards the end, um, I think that, again, whenever people scroll off, that means they don't care anymore. They don't have you don't have their attention anymore. So that's just my thought process. Now then I just sort of see what happened, next script, sort of figure out and keep that in mind.
I'm curious to know what people think about this, because now as I'm like downloading all this information that you shared, right? It's something that I know about because I've always been passionate about branding, marketing, analytics. That's like I nerd out about those things, right? But for people who listen to this and it's so alien to them, I'm just curious about, for example, right, if I am not into marketing and then I just wanted to start business, like it sounds like there's a lot that I need to know
Yeah.
about. It's so intimidating now when you think about it,
It's
right?
a lot to think about
Yeah.
when creating a content. It's no longer like, you record, you post. It's
Yes.
no longer that. Like, it's
You have to now know the psychology behind
yeah.
the people who watch your video.
But that's true marketing, right?
That's
Like,
true marketing.
that
It's all about human
posting
psychology.
is not marketing.
Mm.
It's psychology that's marketing. You're trying to think inside the consumer's POV.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are they going to interact with all aspects of your content? So I think that's what true marketing is.
Yeah. For me, the way I see Izzy Does It on TikTok and Heritage Bakwa on TikTok are two very different types of content. Like for me, I never have to worry about changing the clip every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Because when Izzy Does It comes out on your feed, you know you're in for, it's a trailer, right? So you want to know what happens to the end.
I think that's really important because you need it. It's not like a one case for everyone. It's like you have to know your audience lah. Like macam what your content style. Again, your content will reach its people. So if you don't know your audience and you're posting content that your audience doesn't want to watch, that's why the videos don't perform as well. That's how I see it. But then everything still has luck to it lah. Some content, if it just doesn't work with the algorithm, then you just won't get your. Sometimes you get shadow banned as well. That's a thing. Like your account.
I never
When it,
understand the whole shadow ban
so I
situation.
think it's something like your account is not reaching the people that it's
Meant to?
supposed to reach. Like there could be people with like 1 million followers, but then
Oh,
it doesn't reach all their followers,
okay.
something like that.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
I don't know
Oh,
how it works, but I just know that it's a thing.
thus marketing equals sales.
No.
Then someone might say, playing devil's advocate, why do I need to bother investing in so much
Okay.
in marketing?
This is something that I am very passionate about. This side of marketing. It's really, really hard to track ROI for marketing. So many people are like, "Macam, we spend so much money on marketing. Like my marketing budget is a big part of my revenue and my profit."
And then you, as in you're saying you
As
or you.
as in like for Heritage Bakwa.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like we spend so much on marketing. Okay, the TikTok content that we post is free. It's all just effort. But then marketing wise, I'm talking about like the production shoots that we do, all
The
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 branded the
campaigns.
campaigns, all these things. How do you r- track the ROI for
You
that?
tell me.
Right? Because your content is like a digital footprint. It's there forever. And your metric is, how do you know that this customer bought your product based on the marketing from which video? Which video did they see first? Obviously now with like, if you have an online presence, like a, what do you call it? It's like an e-commerce shop. You can link things, and with cookies you sort of can track and you can see which link they clicked. But then that's not the full case scenario for most things, especially when you're a mix of brick and mortar, physical, and online through your marketing. So how do you know this customer came from your marketing and not like referrals or word of mouth or something like that? So I just look at it as like I don't track my ROI for marketing, um, but I look at it as a whole as like maybe acquisition costs, something like that. But then it goes into, I post all these content on TikTok, founder led, but my store isn't suddenly booming with sales. There has been videos where I've posted, and then right after I post the video for like 2-3 days, we would have like an enormous amount of orders right after that. But it's not the case most of the time. Rarely the case actually. So we post a video most of the time. No sales are like directly linked to this unless it's like a promotional video. Yeah. But how we see it is because, okay, this is the sauce, right? Okay, this is the sauce. We post so much content that our goal is just exposure and telling the story, making people familiar with the brand, with myself or whatever it is. And then eventually when they see us having a shop or like a pop-up shop, they'll immediately say, oh, I saw this on TikTok, people are talking about it, I keep seeing it on my FYP, maybe I should try it. That has contributed so much to our pop-up success all the time, all the time. All expos that we do, alhamdulillah, ada rezeki lah, people are queuing up for the consumer fair, whatever expos we have. And I would say a lot of that is because that they've seen the videos before and they're curious. It's a mix between returning customers and new customers. But that, you want to continuously find new customers. So that's how I would I would go into it. And I think it's very different. Okay, this is something that I would say when you're starting content, actually avoid. And this might be like a hot take, I would say. Don't go into doing TikTok trend content because it really doesn't contribute a lot to your conversion wise, like sale wise. Because when you think about it, when you make all these TikTok content lah, yang macam trendy, funny skits, they don't talk about your product, they don't talk about what your brand is about. So a newcomer whose first impression on your brand is this funny skit TikTok that does not convey anything about your product, what you are, what you believe about, what you stand for, what you provide. So there's no information for new consumers. So that's when, your video might go viral, but then there's no real positive impact on that video going viral, right? So it's merely just making content for the fun of making content, which is not wrong. But I'm just saying when you're looking into making content that generates leads, that converts, you need to really think about what content you're making.
Very interesting.
Because macam, you always see macam maybe smaller businesses, they're doing funny trends or all these
I
things.
see that. Not even the smaller business. I think big
Even big
too.
businesses, yeah. So macam, people might laugh, people might comment, but then after they scroll, they forget about it. Yeah. There's no attachment to the content, to the brand that makes the content. Which I think is really important when you want to build a relationship, when you want to build trust. And I think when creating content, it's important to sort of have a character. People like characters. People like attachments, like you said. So when you like right now, the character for Heritage Bakwa is myself, right? So I'm like this persona for Heritage Bakwa, like the founder and all these things. So if it's constantly changing, then there's no real attachment to the brand. Like people like to attach to something. That's how they relate to it.
To summarize what you just said, the investment on your marketing is simply to invest in the community,
Yeah.
growing the community,
Building trust.
building trust. Sometimes it might translate to sales, sometimes it doesn't. But what you're trying to do is always keep Heritage Bakwa in people's minds.
Yeah. I have this one principle that I really stand behind, is one from Alex Hormozy. I read a lot of his books.
Oh, Alex Hormozy.
Yeah. What Alex Hormozy said was that 95% of the time you focus on giving value to your community, to your audience, and only start selling 5% of the time. It relates back to when I said I post so much content, don't really look for sales in these, and 95% of the time, but then the 5% of the time is during events, during expos. That's when you cash in on that attention one time. So you get one big payday every so often.
That it covers your other, like the other times you're not making sales.
But then that's maybe a different way to look at it. But I'm just saying, like, focus, like the moral here is to give more value than you ask. That's what it's trying to say.
Mm.
So value here could be entertainment, education, advice, or whatever it is. There's so many different types of value here, and maybe in my case, it could be entertainment or
Storytelling.
storytelling, motivation, inspiration, maybe, and 5% of the time is the time when I sell my products. So when you look at the content that we do, we don't really push the product
There's
in the
no
face.
CTA.
Yeah, not really, except for when we have like a promotion, and we rarely do promotions. So I don't really push the product in people's faces. I just try to give value such that then eventually people will trust you, people will like what you do, people will support you through your products. So that's how I see it. That's the sauce,
That's the secret sauce.
I think.
I mean, it's working for you, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
I think
I think I should add to that. What may work for me may not work for everyone else, because again, it's like a not one solution fix all. It's a
yeah,
case by
it's not
case.
apple to apple.
Yeah.
But I hope what people can take from this is take your formula and then tailor it to their own, to whoever's listening, whoever wants to get into social media entrepreneurship. Um, it's honestly very for me, like I really, like I said just now, I really nerd out over these things, right? Because when it comes to human psychology and understanding the consumer behavior, it really all comes down to also understanding how you think. For example, if I mention a fast food restaurant, which fast food restaurant comes to your mind?
Yeah, it's
And
McDonald's.
why
Yeah.
does it come to mind, right? If I mention like a clothing brand, what comes
Mm.
to your mind and why does it come to your mind?
Mm.
So in this case, when it comes to if I could put a tag on Heritage Bakwa, it would be local business, local food brand, experience. So when I say like macam or jerky, what comes to my mind? It could be Heritage Bakwa, it could be whatever, right? Even though it's not really in that food category, but like people just yeah. So I think that's what my version of what you are trying to do when it comes to investing in marketing. It's like
Yeah.
in all these categories, you want people to think of your product
Yeah. The
when they
impression.
say
Yeah,
the impression,
impression.
and how to make people think of your product over
All your
all your
competitors.
other competitors is by continuously reminding them that you are there.
It's like how you train pets?
Yeah,
Like, macam kalau for food,
yeah,
sometimes or like tricks, you sort of have, I don't know what you call it. I read this term in Alex's book.
yeah.
It's like it's like reminders, like macam, I don't know how to explain it really well, but like the analogy is like, for pets, how you train them when their food is and it's ready to eat their food, you sort of make like a clicker sound or something like that, or whatever reminder that it is. So whenever they hear the clicking sound next time, they'll know that the food is there. Understand? So it's like, okay, this maybe for like a while, like your new pet, you give them food. Every time the food is there, you give them the click. So they associate the click with the
With
food.
food, yeah.
So over time, they build that habit, that impression. Then eventually, without even the food there, they hear the click, they'll know that the food is coming. Something like that. So I think that's also how we think as well when association, we think about something, we think of what it's associated to. And I think that's what you're trying to say as well, like that branding. How do we associate it with specific tags or what you mentioned? Yeah.
I like studying about these things.
Yeah.
Like
So
this is
psychology is very interesting. I never took psychology, but I think when running a business, especially marketing, like you mentioned, it really plays a big part of consumer behavior. How do people think? How do people make decisions?
yeah.
I think that's where marketing comes in into every aspect of these thought process. How do you put your brand and position yourself so well in each of the phases when they start thinking about a product, they start making decisions? How do you be at every place when they think?
Yeah. Okay, so what we were discussing is basically about social media entrepreneurship. And why I call it social media entrepreneurship is because the business um is has a presence online mostly. And I wouldn't say it relies on online or digital presence, but basically using it as a vehicle to for exposure, reach a wider audience,
Communication.
communication, delivering your brand messaging, your core values,
Yep.
and a whole experience. So that's what I call that's what social media entrepreneurship is about. But I don't know if anyone actually coined this, but I feel like hearing and like watching stories about people who drive their business, build a community online. It's for me, it's like marketing entrepreneurship. Actually, it's
Mhm.
like if you master the art of marketing,
Mm.
no matter what product you put out,
Yeah.
you'll be able to create a huge online presence.
Yeah.
So basically, right, what I'm saying is like because now you have from Heritage Bakwa, you learned the essence of marketing, storytelling. Should you create another brand and you use the formula that you use for Heritage Bakwa,
Mhm.
granted, yes, there is a possibility that it might not reach the same level of success, but because of the social media landscape now, you know how to tell stories. All you need to do is do a little bit of tweaking
Yeah.
and then
Fix with the audience.
fix with the audience, find the right channel, you'll be able to do it. So now it's like sort of you're the marketing agency, right? And Heritage Moko is just one of the products that you are selling,
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
right? So that's why I'm like, is it not actually marketing entrepreneurship?
Because marketing entrepreneurship is just a small aspect of it. Like marketing is, I think, an important part of business, but business is not just about marketing. So when you look at it in terms of like maybe if it's like an agency wise, and like you mentioned, yeah, but running the business is not just about marketing. I think marketing is like just 25% of running the business. There's
So
so
you
many
would
things.
say running the business is also an art in itself.
Yeah, of course. There's so much to but it's just that marketing just helps open more doors of opportunities for
Right.
you. But you still have to know how to navigate that business landscape and capitalize on those opportunities. Because if you only have the knowledge to market and you don't know how to do everything else,
Yeah.
running a business, growing the business, making proper decisions for the business,
Yeah.
you won't go far anyway. Like if it's just marketing.
Okay.
If you have a bad product but you have really good marketing,
Yeah.
you will get all the good you will get a lot of new customers, so you won't retain customers because your product is not good. So it's not like you succeed in one, it means it is you're good at marketing doesn't mean you will succeed. But that's why like big corporations, big brands have different people running different things, that
Yeah.
they're specialized in marketing, that they run the marketing department, they do this, then everyone is collectively doing what they're good at,
Yeah.
and then they grow the brand together. That's how I think it's work. But when you're talking about solo entrepreneurship, you can be like the best marketer, but then like I said, if you have the worst product,
Okay.
you won't go far anyway.
So both will have to come hand in hand.
Yeah, and I don't think just both. I think there's so many things. Customers experience, I
Experience.
think, is super important, especially here in Brunei. Everyone is very particular, which is good because that makes the environment for consumer wise at a higher standard. You expect a certain level of
Service.
service, but actually, I would say even the Brunei, it's not really that hard in terms of like satisfying people as long as you're not.
Rude.
Yeah, as long as you're decent, your product is not horrible, your service is okay. People don't complain what they don't need to complain. People only complain something that they think is like out of touch and like absurd, which I think is really good.
Has anyone said Bakwa is a bad product to you before?
To me, not really, but I we've definitely had our fair shares of people saying that it's not for them, which is completely fine. It's food. It's very subjective. People have different taste preferences. So, we can't satisfy everyone. So, like I said, it goes back again to you'll find your audience, you'll find your customers who will appreciate and resonate with your product. Because some people prefer other products over our product, which is completely fine.
So we've talked about mostly the marketing side of things, which is yeah, an important aspect for sure. But it's good that you highlight that knowing how to run a business is
Just
also
as
needs
important.
to
Yeah.
needs to come in hand in hand. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to running a business?
Oh, I think taking care of people is the most important part. I think businesses
So
are
people, you
like
mean
everyone, like your staff,
Okay.
your customers, everyone. Like I think it's really important to take care of, because when you take care of your staff, they'll take care of you because they're the one who's running the business. When you take care of your customers, they're the ones who's supporting you. So it goes. It's like human relation is like the core part of the business, and then just the products and just how you transfer those is like a medium. Yeah. So I think that's my non-negotiable. Making sure the customer is satisfied, that their expectations are met, and goes in hand to my workforce as well. Make sure everyone is satisfied, everyone is okay, everyone is their expectations are met as well.
Mm. So that's one of your major. Do you have any other non-negotiables apart from
I think just values as well, making sure whatever decision that I make for the business aligns with my personal values and the brand values, so like what we strive for. I make my decisions for the business based on my values and like the brand values. So making, ethical business decisions is really important. Making decisions that align with how I want the brand to grow is really important. So that's like, I would say non-negotiable, but it's just principles, like your values. How do you make your decisions? It's really important. And like I said, this is like, it's a business, but it's a passion project as well, you know. So making decisions that align with everything is really important.
do you have any hiring tips for people?
Hiring tips?
Yeah, for people who find it really hard to hire.
People?
Yeah. For other entrepreneurs who find it difficult to hire.
Even actually, I even struggle with this.
Mm.
Now we're starting to hire sales associates because we're opening up a shop next month, which is in July. Yep, our first physical showroom.
This episode might come out in July, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I'm really taking like the content. I want to go at a different level, so we're hiring videographers. Well, I wouldn't say videographers, but I look at them as content producers. So they'll be the one who's creating branded content. So we can push out a bit more content rather than just waiting for me to push out content, right? Um, so I struggled as well hiring because we got a lot of CVs, like a lot
Oh,
of,
that's good.
which is good. But then the
But
more
how do you
options,
find the
yeah,
right one?
yeah. So I think skills can be honed, things can be trained, but I think it's really important to hire based off of personality as well. And like personality goes hand in hand with like values, mindset, everything, right? So that's how I would see it. Making sure that I'm able to work with them, they're able to work with the team. That's important. But just seeing how that person thinks, how they look at problems, how they go about different situations. I think it's important because someone might be really good at doing videography, but they maybe have a bad attitude, or they have a bad personality, or like not a good mindset, not be able to work in a team together. Won't be as good as the person who's just decent, but then is willing to learn, is willing to really put in the work, have a growth mindset. So I think that's how I look at it. But I personally still struggle for myself because when you have so many options, how do you
Narrow them down.
narrow them down? And
Do you-
especially with,
Do you filter the CV or do you meet with everybody who sent in a CV?
I do filter the CV.
And then what do you meet?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think a CV, I think it is the first impression you have of the person, right? So you can really, I don't know, after looking at so many CVs, I can sort of tell how, I think I assume I know how a person might be like based on their CV.
Good job. Have you ever sent a CV before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you know how a CV looks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah, I know I've never applied for a real job. I mean, I've interned or something, but I have made CVs for myself before.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, I know how a CV is like. But yeah, I think just how it's organized,
Yeah.
I think can says a lot about a person. Not really the content. Like I don't really look at the experience because again, I'll be the one who's training them. They can learn their skills over time, but just how things are, like you can sort of see how this person is.
So now, what is next for Heritage Bakwa? I know you mentioned you want to create a whole experience, and you mentioned very briefly, July you are opening up a store. How does a Bakwa store look like?
if you look at the Bakwa um pioneers in like Singapore and Malaysia, most of the time they're doing it just like a stall. There's like a stall and then they barbecue on site, all these things. But the first physical location that we'll be doing is more of like a showroom. So it's a place where you can browse the products and you can see a bit into the operation. So you can see how it's grilled, how it's unpacked, how
Open kitchen ka?
not really, but you can see it's like a glass, something like that, like that concept where you can look into it and then you can see like a portion of the process. This is the finishing side. But it's more of just where people can walk in because all this time we had like so many inquiries for walk-ins, like almost on a daily basis. That are you open for walk-in? But before this, we would just by appointment basis or like you purchase through our website and then you just pick it up or we will ship it out to you, right? So we want to have that presence that so we can dive a bit more into that experience customer relation type of thing. Yeah. But then we do have plans of opening different concepts in terms of because what we're doing now is a bit different from how Bakwa stalls are like in like Singapore, Malaysia. This is like an actual showroom. We want to make it really nice. Like make sure the experience is good for the customers.
Now I'm trying to understand your reasoning behind having that like walk-in store, right? Because usually businesses they would rather not have a store because there's something else.
It's a liability.
Yeah, it's a liability. It's better to have an online lah and then just deliver directly to consumer. What's the strategy business wise behind
Well,
this store?
we look at it as like, if they purchase online, their interaction with the business is just through that website. We want to expand that experience to a personal, bespoke experience that you can talk to someone, you can engage with the salesperson
Mm,
and feel the product, see the product, taste the product, because that's a big part of Heritage Bakwa. We always give all these like free samples. We make sure people meet their expectation when they purchase the product. So they try it first with no commitment so they know that if they like it or not. Because again, it's a very unique niche product and it's not common here. So people don't know what it tastes like. So with them being able to try it first without any financial commitment, like purchasing it first, then it meets their expectation from the get-go without so if they don't like it, then they don't buy it.
when you mentioned just now, like Basha Coffee comes to mind. Have you been to their store?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Matcha coffee, yeah.
Would it be something like that?
Similar concept
similar.
lah, concept lah. Like
Yeah.
like macam a showroom, you can browse the products, you can go in, you can
Okay, that's
see.
okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
But this is like a smaller scale lah.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not we don't have the capital to do something grand yet, but I think this is a good stepping stone for us into going into that Heritage Bakwa world and
Mm,
seeing what we have to offer, and then eventually we'll experiment more with
yeah,
the experience.
because like you mentioned just now, Heritage Bako is still 1.5 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's still quite
a
young.
long way to go.
A long way to
Yeah.
go. Okay. Is that your main focus now, or do you have another venture at the back of your mind?
Like right now, it's just I'm like
HB.
tunnel vision. Such a like
Okay.
I do believe a lot in this brand, what it has to offer, all the potential that I see it possessing. So I really just want to focus on going this one.
Is there anything you would like to add before we end the interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we started Heritage Bakwa after the podcast, right? The podcast was like sometime in August,
I think so.
like that, right? And that was like my first online
Interview.
appearance or interview, like whatever like in terms of public lah, like out there,
Okay.
right? Like obviously I have social media, but it's all private. But
Tapi the Nazri podcast atau was that afterwards ka?
yeah, belum keluar.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean like you've done but
That was my
before?
first. Izzy Does It was my first podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's why you said I was so nervous because ada
Oh, yeah.
first.
Yeah.
That was my first benar-benar being on camera,
Mm.
right? And I got so much. I don't know, not like how to say, like macam people just come up to me, strangers.
Yeah.
Like maybe maybe I like macam during at the gym ka or like during whatever social
Events, activities.
event activities that involves people that I've never met. Yeah, like, oh, I saw you on Izzy Does It. Like that was a thing for probably like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, that
Oh
was a
my
thing for 2 months.
gosh.
Even until now, I do still get some people saying, "Oh, I've watched your podcast on Izzy Does It before."
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's good because, you know, it one for me, it's an easy icebreaker. It breaks the ice immediately, and then like macam it's not awkward. I mean, it is awkward for me. And it's like, oh,
Especially when you're not used to it, right?
yeah. But eventually, then talk to people, it gets easier. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's a testimonial, guys?
Yeah, and yeah, I think like macam I've definitely got a lot of exposure from that
Episode.
episode. Especially, I think it was a good way to soft launch the brand
Hmm.
and sparking a bit of interest.
Yeah.
Not like major, but like there are people who look forward to the launch of that.
Yeah. Because I remember when that episode came out, people did, because I received comments
Mm.
after every episode comes out, like I always get comments from the community as well. They were like, "Oh, can't wait when it comes out, can't wait for when it comes out." But the thing is, I'm not sure how serious people are.
Yeah.
They say that because
Mm.
sometimes they could just be like, "Sudah
Just
keluar," they just
yeah.
yeah
But I think it has been like a positive impact. Yeah. So now I'm back here for episode 2.
for another impact.
Yeah.
Okay, so look out for his walk-in store experience
July.
in July,
Inshallah.
and July is my birthday. In case you wanna a special HB experience for Izzy. Yeah.
HBZ. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on again.
Again.
You are the first guest to come back.
Double appearance.
Double appearance. I mean, I'm looking forward to invite more, but you're the first one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
It's
for
an honor. Yeah. Easy.
So- You're done.